Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
First off, congrats on the film. I really dug it. I'm a big horror fan, so I'm definitely its target demo. So it definitely blew me away. So I'll start off with a question for both of you. The film is such a different take on the slasher genre. What was sort of the elevator pitch, if you will, or what drew you into this project?
I think exactly that it's different. I remember reading the script and it was so much uh, so much of like Johnny walking in the woods and the perspective or being tethered to him. And I think it was just exciting to read something different and something new. I think every time reading a script, if it can make me feel something unique, then that's when I know.
Yeah, and I'm going to piggyback on that too and say like honestly the same thing. Just getting to spend that time and sort of it's a hangout film with a slasher killer, which we haven't really seen. We've seen it in some other ways. The Leslie Vernon Rise of the Mask, that film kind of does it, but in a very very different way. And it's like a documentary with this killer talking to the crew, but this is something entirely different, and it's an actual killer that you never get to fully understand or know. So that was just really exciting for me.
So, Rye, you have a very distinct stalk in the film, which is very important when you're being a killer. So, what went into sort of crafting that take on this sort of hulking creature, and what notes did you get from the director, if any, if at all, for that performance?
We talked a lot about it ahead of time, about just the movements and the pace of Johnny, and then a lot of it was studying classic slasher films, and I'm a huge fan too, and I've watched a whole bunch of them when I was younger, and I revisited ones that I had seen 100 times, and then watched a whole bunch that I had somehow slipped through the cracks and I'd never seen. So just taking elements, never wanting to copy one thing in particular, and kind of taking and amalgamating into like a unique character, and then taking outside elements too. Like I watched a lot of animal attack videos to kind of motivate Johnny's movements and how he changes so drastically and violently in moments. And yeah, just kind of piece it all together and make sure that it fits with the just the design of the film, because it is really structured and has to be a certain way.
Was there an animal in particular, or maybe a killer in particular, or like a slasher in particular that was an inspiration for him?
I watched mainly bear attack videos, and like some wolves and large cats and stuff. Just made like there's an analogy in the film, but that doesn't that's not 100% supposed to be a direct connection, but that was kind of like a starting point. And then as far as the killers, like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers, specifically Nick Castle as the Shape, and Kane Hodder, just the way that they're such distinct portrayals. And I mean, there are a lot of others too in the Friday franchise, and in a lot of other horror films, My Bloody Valentine and The Burning. But taking little elements from all that stuff and kind of trying to not copy it, but give the right nods and kind of make it its own thing.
So, Andrea, we see Chris put through the ringer emotionally and physically. What was the preparation you did for the role, and what sort of helped you sort of find that place in you as an actor?
I think that the preparation itself was more just talking with Chris Nash, our director, and figuring out how to make her unique, how to make her different from the typical trope, and how to just bring as much of myself to it as I could. I wish I could tell you I practiced running and screaming, but I did no such thing. It was kind of just on the day, really buying into the stakes and the moment, and then just running wild and loose with it. And I think that was the most freeing experience I could have asked for as an actor.
So, as the final girl and the slasher, you play a sort of very cat and mouse sort of game, especially in those final moments of the film. What was that like performance wise? And did you collaborate at all for how you kind of worked that into your takes on the sort of dynamics of the two?
Like if Ryan and I collaborated?
Yes.
I don't think we did actually. I think, well,
Yeah.
it's interesting. Like, so Rye at the start of it, and I'll let you speak to this, Rye, but tried to keep his distance a little bit to create a, tension between our characters, but we very quickly became friends.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like we do only have so many actual they are connected through the entire film, and it gets closer and closer, but it is funny. Johnny is kind of always kept at a certain distance from Chris, and he never really gets, like, the closest he gets, I think, is the ranger scene, like
Yeah,
actual distance, probably, I think. And then yeah, but I mean, everything was all kind of designed. Chris kind of knew everything that was happening there, and so we had our scenes, but we were always there's always a distance.
which was actually quite a blessing, I think, to be able to work in that way. And I think it really pays off because you're kind of waiting the whole time to be like, will they, won't they? What's happening?
Well, that leads perfectly into my next question. Are you guys hoping for a rematch because of the way we kind of leave things at the end of the film?
That would be awesome. Who do you think would win? Say me.
Definitely up for it.
I'm sorry, Johnny might win this one, but you never know.
I know Chris is pretty fast. She can run, and
she's
innovative.
Spry. Yeah.
Yeah.
She is spry.
Yeah.
So thank you both again for your time, and thanks again for the film. I really enjoyed it. You guys have a great day.
You as well. Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye.
Thanks.